thanks for being here. It's Rock 100.5. Jason Bailey there, Southside Steve, Tim Andrews, Brandy, and Nate, our Digi-Dude. It's always nice to do a show when all the people on the show aren't in their seats.
Sorry.
At the Improv this weekend is a very good friend. He's a fantastic comedian, a fantastic actor. He's a straight-up good dude, and that is one Steve Byrne. Steve, how are you, my friend?
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Have y'all slept together?
No.
Excuse me? I mean, that was a lot of love for one individual. I know he's here in the studio, but...
I rescued Steve from the green room, and that's when it all kind of just took off from there.
Yeah, it's a physical relationship. There's nothing emotional. And he says, when you kiss me, don't make eye contact. Actually, he says there's no kissing.
There's no
just
kissing.
The rough stuff.
Have you ever slept with a girl and not kissed her?
My wife? Does that count? Or actually, I call her my roommate.
That's awesome.
After a couple years, that's where it gets to, right?
Yeah.
So, Steve, so outside of the stand-up, we'll get to all the stand-up stuff here, but Sullivan's Son, which was a very, very good show on, TBS, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't know this until this morning, right?
Okay.
It was a great show.
I liked it.
The dad from Wonder Years.
Dan Loria?
Yes, he was in it. It was a fantastic show. And then Nate, who you remember from back in the day, is with us now here in Atlanta. He tells me the show has been canceled.
That's what we heard.
Well, news travels fast. This happened about a year ago.
Well, we're in the South.
Yeah.
Well, thank God. Thank God. I mean, at least you're aware of it.
We all have dial-up.
I mean, I thought, honestly, for a second there, we were telling you something you didn't know.
No. Had you been breaking this to me now, it would be I would be definitely out of the loop.
Hold on for a second. Stop for a second, Steve. I actually feel bad. I
do too, because it's a damn good show.
No. Here's what I'm thinking is that if we didn't know each other and you were in a radio station,
yes,
and somebody is talking about a show that you put a lot of time and effort into,
right,
and how it'd been canceled, that's like anybody else being in front of people, talking to thousands of people about, a job that they're no longer at. Mm-hmm. That's not very nice. You don't want to talk about that, probably.
No, well, I mean, to be completely honest, all my memories or recollections of working on the show are all positive. There's nothing negative at all that I have when anybody brings up Sullivan and Son. It was 3 of the best years professionally I've ever had. And I got to work with some amazing people, even from Turner here from TBS. It was all great.
When you and the cast were sitting around after, I mean, I imagine, because I know how we are, we don't really talk about it, but when you've had a good show, you've had a good show.
Right.
And, little high fives or, man, we just killed it today, or like, God, we sucked. And usually if we do, it's something to do with Bailey. But
yeah, because that's what the surveys say.
But no, with you,
I would suggest more matching neon.
Okay, yeah. He never tells me when he's going to wear neon.
Don't bag on it, mister. I subscribe to hockey clothing.
No, I'm backing you going after him for neon. This is his tennis look. He's a male tennis player.
Yeah, that's
in a male
very
tennis
confident.
league.
He's walking around like day 90 of T25.
Yeah,
we get it, dude. Okay,
I'm glad you're with me on this. But did you guys high five and know that you had great shows? And was it a rug pull? Because I thought it was funny. I thought your mom on the show was a great character. Being snarky and everything. I mean, it was really a fun, cool show.
Yeah, look, it was no Fantastic Four.
No.
I mean, look, there was. Look, when there's a transition period and there's a new president hired, sometimes they want to take the network into a new direction.
Okay.
And we kind of saw the writing on the wall prior to knowing that was going to be the case. So when it did come down, I don't know that it was a huge surprise, but, at the end of the day, no complaints.
What are they going to do? I think the direction that they're going to take is a lot of just reruns of old movies and stuff, right?
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And now we don't care, damn it.
I'm just working on the stand-up and some other stuff, so yeah.
Hey, did you make the Fantastic Four comment just because of you heard our past conversation?
I
or
did
do you know about?
Because it was big news, I guess.
You heard it?
Oh, you read about us?
Yeah, I did read about it, and then I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
You're like, I know that guy. I was like, I've done interviews with that guy a million times. He's never been a racist to me.
No, not at all. But I think, look, these days, anything you post, anything you say, someone is going to be offended. Look, I'm a comedian,
Right.
Just every time you say something, it just seems like people are touchier these days because they have an outlet with social media, and there's people waiting to be offended, to be honest.
What do you think about what Sarah Silverman said about playing colleges? Do you encounter that, like people get upset?
Yeah, I stopped doing them. I stopped doing them about 8 years ago. Plus, it's like, what am I going to? I'm 41 now. What do I relate to an 18-year-old that
Dude,
just
you
got
can
to campus for the first time?
Still be creepy. I mean, that's fun. I mean, I think you still look young. I don't think you look a day over 33. You could still do the college scene.
Well,
I think you totally could.
Inside, I know it
on
feels creepy.
But inside.
Yeah, 5 years from now, I will be Uncle Creepy. That's basically, coming to campus.
Yeah.
The Improv all weekend long. You did a show last night, right? Steve Byrne will be there at Steve Byrne Live there on the Twitter, SteveByrneLive.com there, the ImprovAtlanta.com. Did you stop doing the college stuff like Tim brought up, which actually was a very good question with Sarah Silverman, because of that reason of it's being so politically correct, or because you're 41 and you've got nothing to relate to it?
Well, it's a combination. It's definitely, you get as you get older, you feel a little like, how can I connect to these kids, especially with the experience I have, and then some of the jokes a little dirtier, but even when I'm talking about being Korean and Irish.
What a hell of a combo.
Terms of being Asian, I'm doing jokes about that, and they're like, oh, it's like, I'm making fun of me. How are you? They just don't get it, I think.
Well, that was the situation with the Fantastic Four interview that you were reading about, and I mean, that was fun for us. I thought it was the prototypical issue with everything, in my opinion. It's like we go into a bad situation, one of those junkets, which you've been a part of on the other and being interviewed.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable. That's not our style, but we did it just to satisfy the movie people. 5 to 7 minutes with these, 3 B-list actors. And you go in, and this Michael B. Jordan guy is a black guy. He plays the flame dude. Of course you're going to ask that question. Kimmel asked the question like a week prior. I didn't know that, but he asked the same question, and he treated him like a douche nozzle. Just asked the question, and then it got weird. And then Steve, has this thing for chicks' toes. So we're trying to have fun, but it's this pretentious... This pretentious new Hollywood that grows up in this PC world that doesn't get it.
Yeah, well, there's a whole generation of kids that got trophies when they were growing up.
That's them.
God,
I think it's all coming to fruition, and we have no one to blame but the soccer moms in this country.
And the caravans, the minivans.
See, I hate anybody driving a minivan with short hair and slightly overweight. I just do. Is that bad?
No, but here
enough about Rosie O'Donnell.
I'm sorry, but they ruined this country,
nice.
man.
I don't have a minivan.
We got to throw a pair.
Here's the problem with this conversation. Each and every one of us right now are wrong. We are so wrong to feel that way because we have to change with the times. Just as we have to change with the times, or people have to change with our times, the Gen X times, we've got to change with the times. So people listening to us right now are like, you guys are idiots. You guys just don't get it. It's like, that's just...
Do we sound old and stuck in our ways? Are we old school?
We sound narrow-minded, especially that Steve Byrne guy. Sound narrow-minded and naive
Steve.
right now. So you should go back out to the college tour.
Yes, you should, and don't you dare feel creepy.
Well, to any young kid, some kid who's 18 and 19, it's just like, oh, they must be Republican. They hate everybody. It's like, no, I just, look, I had a special called, I have a special called Champion on Netflix right now. I'm not trying to promote it, but I'm just saying,
please do.
When you see the reviews, it's almost like a focus group. You can go in and see, and anytime I read a review, I'm like, oh, they must be under 25. Because anytime you say something, I have this one joke in it, and it's just like, I talk about movie quotes. I go, I'll give you a movie quote. You tell me the movie it's from. Here, I'll give it to you guys. Jaws. I just ruined the joke. I just gave you the punchline. I haven't done it in a while.
Jaws.
But basically, it comes down to me making fun of an overweight girl. And then it's just like, oh, he hates fat girl. It's like, no, it's literally just a joke. And
that's all it is.
There's sarcasm, and I think that there's some elements in an interview where there could be some sarcasm.
Well, there should
take it the wrong way.
Interviews shouldn't be any different than comedians. You guys, like, even if you take certain politically heavy comedians that do have an agenda for the most part. I think all comedians, even if they're political comedians, their first and foremost agenda is to make people laugh.
Dennis Miller, for instance, that's the way he came.
Well, George Carlin. I mean,
George Carlin.
I mean, he's not doing torn anymore, but George Carlin, for example. Extremely political.
I don't know if he knows or not.
But brilliant. Sullivan's Son was canceled?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
The day George Carlin died.
Brilliant. I mean, brilliant with his, it was very political, and he had his very conservative ways and so on and so forth. But I think it's to make people laugh. Comedians, I think should get a pass. Entertainers, artists, creative people should get a pass if they're there for the entertainment's sake. Because
pass.
In radio, you don't know if it's real or fake. I mean, there's a lot of things that I'll say or do. I had to comment to somebody on Facebook. They're like, I hope that Bailey guy isn't going the way of some other dude. He sounds very this and this and that. I'm like, dude, sometimes I do that just to push the buttons in the room for the entertainment's sake.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Because look, what is the core of any scene and any television or movie? There's got to be conflict.
Yes.
And people appreciate it. I mean, we're not going to sit here and talk about how wonderful it is to adopt a cat because it might help you with your cancer.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
You want some push and pull. You want to tug of war every now and then. So,
yeah.
But every 3 or 4 weeks, there's some comedian that's going to get in trouble. Sarah Silverman, Amy Schumer got in trouble. Before that, Jeselnik and Tosh.
And I don't think you apologize when you get in trouble. And just to close this conversation out, college kids, man, they're there to learn. But, man, they're there to get laid and get drunk, and they're away from mom and dad for the first time, and they're supposed to be
Not anymore.
hell raisers.
Not anymore.
Anything that you should be able to say, Steve Byrne, should not offend. You should be able to go there more than with any other crowd.
I agree with you. Can you manage me?
I would love to manage you.
No,
I've got a little time on my schedule.
No.
You don't want me
he's
to
got
manage
great
you?
hair.
Thank you. I got great hair, and I can manage.
Wherever you go, you should take your shirt off and ride horseback.
See?
Just let your hair flow.
Steve Byrne gets
beautiful
me.
sight.
He gets me.
He's
You
the
watch
next-
his boobs bounce when he hits the buttons.
He's the next Old
watch your
Spice
mouth.
guy.
Bailey,
That
are
is
you,
my manager.
Sorry.
are you worried that I'll take my focus off this show, or do you think I'm a bad manager?
No, I just saw you manage a bar, bankruptcy.
No, first off, I didn't file bankruptcy. I paid out.
Don't treat him like Trump.
No, don't. All that was me sticking my neck out. Great concept, bad location.
All right,
Touch
hey,
me.
Steve,
Thank you.
we
Touch me.
We want to include you in this next segment.
Sure.
Stick around. We have the start of a very cool promotion that we're doing. We have taken $5,000 and gone and purchased a lot of cool man stuff, like in a man cave. Okay,
Right.
So next,
So you need somebody to take an axe and just split wood for like a half hour?
what we need you to do is we're going to give out some obscure clues. Everybody in the room has got obscure clues to an item, to somebody that was qualified throughout the week.
Okay.
They will have to pick one of these items. It's called Steal or No Steal. This is the first week of doing it. Then next week, somebody can either steal that item or take
White
one of our
elephant
clues.
Christmas thing.
The Chinese Christmas exchange, unless
Don't
that's
say
offensive.
Chinese.
Is that offensive to
Asian
the
American.
He's Asian.
Sorry.
Sorry.
So
He's also Irish.
you're not getting clues. You can just list them. You can guess, help them out, figure out.
I am on board, and I'm excited to be part of the first week of this.
You should be, sir.
Yes.
The improvatlanta.com.
Boy, your life's going great, ain't it?
Shows at 8
It's
and 10.
awesome.
Shows at 8 and 10 tonight and tomorrow night. Steve Byrne in studio. Steal or No Steal, week 1 of our 5K promo. We're going to do it next here with Steve. It's Rock 100.5.